Well, here we go. Is everybody good? I'll do the disclaimer because today we're going to be talking about animals, but even when we talk about animals, this is for educational and entertainment purposes. Because while this is Root University, this is not Rom Thomas University, the accredited arm. So if you have a medical issue, you should consult with your healthcare professional before doing this because we're not here to treat anything. But Dr. Rom is here to talk about how to make happy, healthy, long living, better functioning pets.
Well, you were raised in a veterinarian practice.
I was playing with nutraceuticals for animals long before it was cool.
So one of the things I talk about a lot is that, animals, it's interesting. I believe animals have souls. I believe they're like people. They just don't communicate the same. And now they've been able to prove through science and through all the nanotechnologists and through the bioscience engineers that animals can actually, I can't take that, I don't know what that is. Animals can actually communicate. They can tell you, and they can do it they have these things where you can touch, like they can answer yes or no, or I love you, or I don't like you. They can correspond. And
they can read and understand how to respond based on
they can do that, or they can also you can teach them verbally with buttons and different colors. So they know, they even are able to, like, if they're upset with you, they can say, I don't love you, right? Because they're able to communicate, especially some of the animals like Tilly that are highly intelligent. And so
half human.
Our philosophy has always been, we feed our animals as good as we feed ourselves. We put the nutrients and vitamins in that we want them to have. And so our food that we give our animals are refrigerated. It's real, like chicken or real pork or real vegetables. And we're really careful. And we've also always given our pets and our animals different vitamins and minerals and different greens and things like that. But we noticed there weren't things out on the market like what we really knew would help animals. And so the combination of our backgrounds and what we've studied, whether it was pharmaceutical or nutraceutical, animals or people, our combination led us to develop a line that was specifically made for animals.
You biohack the pets.
I'm worried about your back.
Well, I'm just leaning over because I was trying to sit with you.
Yes,
really, you put together a plan, much as you did for humans, with an outline series that is designed to work together to address all of the key components that are really missing in a good diet for animals. Because if you look at the two primary pets with dogs and cats, they should actually be fed raw. Right, you should feed them as raw as possible, which is difficult for most of us because of time and schedule, and it can be expensive if you have more than one dog or large animals
or cats
and cats as well. Well, horses are pretty easy to deal with per se, but those that we really have to take care of can be a little more arduous, and you have to pay attention to stuff, but still there are ways of tweaking diet and lifestyle for your pets that you can dramatically improve their well-being, their function, their performance, and their longevity. And those are the key things to hit on. And what my parents found is, in 45 years of veterinary practice, and my dad learned this early on, that the cause of almost every issue in pets actually pertains to their diet. And it's funny how you then can extrapolate that to humans, because we live in the same environment. And if it's our diet and really that speaks to what's going in us or what's not going in us, and also the impact of things that are in us that shouldn't be in us, how they dictate this process. But when you make some of these changes, you see dramatic changes in the animals. And what we've already seen in humans, with Dr. Rom doing something similar in animals, we're going to see the same profound responses, but you might find that your pets are healthier and they live a lot longer.
Well, and it was really important to me because even though these formulas look the same on paper, I did not make them the same. So there's different concentrations. I made them in a different format. I wanted the animal Pure Clean Pets to really specifically target more of the GI. I did want to help detox and clean the overall body, but I understood that what animals are eating and the grass they're even around is, and they put in their mouth because they'll chew on it, different things that I really needed to attach to the GI. So I did do different formulas. Pets are a little bit different. And I wanted to make sure that I created a line specifically for them. So the first thing, of course, that was important to me was a formulation that was like Clean Slate, but not Clean Slate. And we call it Pure Clean Pets. And I know it says vitamin C on the supplement facts, but the truth is, as you guys know, the same with the Clean Slate, Clean Pets does have a mineral complex and an orthosilic blend that we use, basically silicon dioxide and other types of vitamins and minerals to really support the body and concentrate on really helping the animals as far as providing what they need to help them detox and clean and support. This was really important to me because we had a little dog named Chloe that was diagnosed with a tumor, and then they said she wasn't going to make it. I've told this story a lot. And we basically made a different formula that was a little bit like Clean Slate, a little bit differently. It was made in a different way, but we put it into her food, and she lived another, gosh, Clay,
few years,
2-3 years. And they told us we were going to have to put her down. And I even told Clayton, she can't see out of her eyes. She's not going to live. And she actually lived a very happy life for those 2 years.
And she shrunk.
She lost a lot of weight.
Because she was a teacup Yorkie that Mama gave the opportunity to be the size of a coffee pot.
Yeah. So we really supported Tilly during that.
Treats.
And I can tell you something. This has made me believe in the products that I've worked on and made more than probably anything is the way the animals have reacted and how we've been able to help them. I'm so attached to the animals that we have that it's extremely important to me. I do want to point out in this slide, we brought up the American Journal of Veterinarian Research. It says 89% of dogs with mineral deficiencies experienced an improvement in overall health after supplementation with a concentrated mineral complex. And I know that what we made is definitely different than just a basic mineral complex, but it does have the specific nutrients in it, such as vitamins and minerals that these dogs really need to really help with their food and their bodies and their lives.
We know vitamin C.
Well, why don't you talk about it, why it's important and to the immune system in dogs, or do you want me to talk about it?
You can. I mean, this is one of the simple ones, right? Because vitamin C, everybody understands the vitamin C for supporting humans for immune function and working as an antioxidant. You get some of the same components, for pets, but the anti-inflammatory property being very beneficial by the reduction in oxidative stress. So,
well, it's really important because the dogs and the cats that are outside, Clay, are exposed to this continuously more than we are.
Well, inside and outside, it's really, really important to understand that if you have pets, you have outdoor pets, you have indoor pets, and sometimes you have pets that go indoors and outdoors, right?
Like ours.
But like ours, all of ours go inside and outside.
I was going to say, most animals need to go outside.
They should. One of the biggest problems is that indoor air and the environment inside is 7 times more polluted than outside. So if all they're getting is indoor time, they're getting constantly poisoned.
That's right.
So you've got to address both.
You have to do both. But I want to point this out because I don't know if you guys know this. The right vitamin C, if it's made in the right way, improves wound healing and stimulates production of collagen. That's a protein that helps with the connective tissue. I don't talk about that enough when it pertains to Clean Slate and our other ingredients. But just so you guys know, that was an important target for us because we wanted animals to be able to produce the collagen. With horses and with dogs and with cats, there's a problem with that. And they have problems with their connective tissue. So it was extremely important that we were able to do this. And you guys have Monday with our RPS call, we will be discussing how we're launching all these animal products. You guys will be able to purchase them. So I really want you guys to be educated on the importance of all this. This particular slide talks about Ohio State University in the veterinary and clinical science, and how important it was for the cats to be supplemented with the vitamin C because it increased the level of collagen in their wound tissue, which compared to those that were not given the supplement. I think it's hugely important. I don't think we talk about it enough. Vitamin C is also very important to the skin and to the overall body and the coat's health. So it's extremely important that everyone understands that. It can also reduce shedding, which I hate shedding with our dogs. So that was important. And it can reduce the sign of aging. So again, this is applicable to both Clean Slate and Clean Pets, but I did want you guys to know it was a specific focus with these animals.
And then comes the fun one.
Orthosilic acid. Orthosilic acid is one of the most common things that's found in our environment. It's been used in so many ways, but there's good and bad types of orthosilic acid, and there's lots of different ways you can work with it. So it was really important when I worked on this particular formula to look at, again, the joint health of the animals, the inflammation and the pain. I want you guys to know this. A lot of animals have arthritis and they're not treated. A lot of them are in pain and people don't know. A lot of animals, I think it's like 76%, experience some kind of, or 72 to 76, experience some kind of joint issue. And no one does anything about it because they don't know, because even though the animals can communicate, they can't communicate the same way we do. So this particular slide talks about a study with horses where they were given a daily supplement of orthosilic acid for 6 months. And at the end of the study, the horses showed significant improvement in joint health. If you look at that in a combination of the vitamin C and the other vitamins and minerals, it's really important that people recognize how important this particular ingredient is, especially the way it was made for this formulation. At the end of the study that we're talking about in this slide, the dog showed a significant decrease in joint damage. Again, it keeps going back to joints, to pain, to reducing inflammation. But I want to add something else. Animals have usually a higher chance of cancer than we do. Like with breast cancer, they have a 4 times higher rate of breast cancer. With skin cancer, a 38% increase compared to us. So it's really important that we don't just understand that this impacts our joints, but also it impacts the rest of our body and the ability to get rid of targeting. I mean, my focus was to get rid of the cancer cells and to target really overall health for the animals.
So to draw the simple conclusion, why would animals have an increased rate of cancer if they lived in the same environment?
Well, first of all, they're genetically made in a different way. And second of all, they're exposed to more environmental toxins than we are. They're outside where the pesticide is.
And they're
the
inside.
food, I understand they're inside, outside, but they're being exposed to things that are on the ground. And there's all kinds of pesticides. I've spoken to you guys about this. Pesticides don't leave. They stay there. You've got to help your body get rid of them if you're exposed to them. Also, pollution in the environment doesn't. And Clay's right. There's an equal chance, or not equal. There's also an opportunity for dogs to get sick when they live inside.
And they're smaller, so they respond quicker. So it's the canary in the coal mine aspect too.
Yeah, explain that because we need to talk about that.
Well, if you have dogs or cats that are in your house. But
the canary in the coal mine was canaries there, the canary dies first, but really the people are being exposed to it. So there's a study that was done in coal mines. It's become a joke, but it's true. The canaries would die in the coal mines, but the people would live, but they didn't understand that they were going to die too. And they are being exposed to carcinogens in the coal mines. It's the same way with our animals.
And the canaries die early because they're smaller, their lungs are smaller. It takes a smaller amount of exposure to cause their demise, and knowing that if they kill the canary, everyone else needs to get out because of what they're inhaling. And that's the part. If you have animals that have allergies or that are having issues, that's telling you what's going on in your environment. You're being exposed to the same thing. And what we know is that if you see the early onset and the early signs, you can adjust it. But if you continue to do the same things consistently over time that you're doing that cause those effects to your animals, they will also happen to you. And you've got to clean up the mess inside and out, for you and your pets. But then you did something to make sure that you were protecting them.
I did. One of my favorite things I've done in my
time.
one of my favorite things, and I want to say this again, that I've ever done in my career was to create this product for animals and for people called Coato. But when we launched the animal line, do we have this available, Clay, or are we still
Yep.
waiting?
Oh, it's ready to go.
Awesome. So Coato was a product that for me was so important. You guys know we did Fashion Week, and we had this big push with our fabrics and all the stuff we did for clothing. But what I think what some people missed is the main thing that we really were pushing and talking about that we wanted people to understand is that skin is your largest organ. Whether it's an animal skin or it's our skin, it's hugely important to our health, and you've got to protect it. You've got to detox it. You've got to create barricades with it, and you've got to supplement it. It's got to be protected, and it's got to be taken care of. So to do that, I worked on a hypochloric acid blend, which a lot of times those are only used in pharmaceuticals. This was naturally made. I used vitamin C, aloe vera, vitamin B3, and proprietary blends of orthosilic acid. And I also used a potassium sorbate and iodine because I really wanted to, again, create this barrier. I actually produced this formula during the month COVID that hit in the United States, but I only did it for my friends. And those people carried it around everywhere with them for a year. They sprayed it on their body, they sprayed it in their eyes, on their nose, and in their mouth. The goal of the product was to further protect animals and people from the 5G technology, from EMF radiation, from heavy metals, viruses, bacteria, parasites, and fungus. That was the goal. Keep it out. Don't let it come in. And so that's why this particular product was made. I will tell you that because of the antimicrobial agents that are in like hypochloric acid, because of the benefits to the body, this is going to do so much more than protecting. Just so you guys know, it's called HOCL. HOCL is what hypochloric acid is called a lot of times by scientists. HOCL can actually reduce dandruff. It can help the skin with allergies. It helps in the presence of bacteria, fungus, and mites for animals. So another thing that's used for is for ticks and for fleas. We don't have that on there. Yeah. It helps repel it so that your animals aren't exposed to it. And I didn't get into a lot of things in this particular slide, but Lyme disease is a huge problem with animals. Parasites, another huge problems that come in through the skin. So this was extremely important to me to be able to produce this. If you look at this,
this could be a wound spray as well, correct?
Yes, for animals or people. This is, again, I think my favorite product I've ever been able to work on and make myself. It's really important to understand that in the study of 500 cats and dogs, it was found that animals treated with HOCL had significantly fewer skin infections and much more improvement in skin and coat. And also, in the last study that we put on this slide, it talks about how it helped the wounds heal in over 200 cats and dogs. It helped it heal significantly quicker.
Only 200?
That was the number that were in the study, Clay.
Just 200 though. It wasn't like 5 or 6.
There were 200. I don't know what that point is.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
Oh, look. Coato has vitamin C in it too?
Yes.
Next slide.
Well, I think it's
We
important
to touched on vitamin
we did,
C.
but this one shows that there was another study that it improved the coat and the skin by 50%. That's a huge improvement.
And the vitamin C actually acts as an active, but it also forms a catalyst for the activation of some of these other
that's why
other components, which is why you're using it. And that's because you're a bioscience engineer and others aren't.
I don't know. I'm not comparing myself to others because we don't need to, but for me, it was really
there's only one you.
Thank you, babe.
Oh.
So vitamin B3 was used too. Everyone that knows me knows I love the B vitamins. So it was important to use niacin. Niacin has so many positive effects for the coat and for skin of animals. It's really important because topical niacin actually has been used to treat a variety of conditions in humans as well as animals. It can help with eczema, dermatitis. It can help with different types of other conditions, even psoriasis, itching, redness, et cetera, et cetera. So that was extremely important. It also is something that's used in a lot of shampoos that are dandruff shampoos because it helps get rid of dandruff and shedding. So any of you guys, and I'm sure you guys are catching this, if it helps get rid of shedding in animals, if you guys use the human skin environment care, it should help your hair too, because we have a lot of people that are having issue with hair loss. So that was another target of
Not
mine.
me.
No, but you take my formulas.
Yes, I do. You know what's interesting with this though? How cool is this little product for groomers?
It's amazing for anyone that's choosing to use it. I mean, it really is. Like for me, I think it's a game changer for your animals. I also used aloe vera. You guys can see the theme of what's going into the skincare line for animals. It helps reduce inflammation. It's an inflammation mediator. It helps with histamine. So any kind of repair in the skin that has to do with insect bites, chemical treatments, irritants, pollution, aloe vera can help with that, especially in animals if you make it in the right way. And this was put into the skin product that you actually can spray on your skin and the animal's coats to really help them. I did an animal line and I did a human line, and I really added significant changes in the animal line so that it could be used specifically for dogs, cats, and horses.
So when you're spraying them with this, you actually want to rub it in so it's not just on the top, that it gets into their fur and can get on their skin.
Yes, you did.
So one of the coolest things that your pets will love is they'll realize that when they get sprayed, they get loving. Right?
That's
so
right. You
They
get
get
to-
lovies. So you get to rub them all down. That's one of Tilly's favorite things. She's like, oh yeah.
She loves it. Bill and coo actually means to pet or fondle.
Oh.
So it means to pet, the name of the animal line. And that's what Bill and coo means in English. So that's where the name comes from. And he's right. When you guys spray your animals down with this, you get to rub it. And if they have a wound or if you're worried about ticks and fleas and all that stuff, just make sure you spray it. Use it once a day. And then 24 hours later, you can come back and spray it again. And they have something positive for their skin instead of something toxic, getting rid of fleas and tick bites and other things like that. So it's really important. I think the next slide, we talk about orthosilic acid.
Again,
but there's an important factor to the next slide. And I want to point it out at the very end. It talks about, we do talk again about heavy metals in coats and animals and healthier coats and skin. But if you look at it, it says in a study conducted by the University of Veterinary Medicine, Vienna, the effects of orthosilic acid on the reduction of heavy metals in the coat of animals was evaluated. It shows a 32%, Clay, basically ability to get rid of that in the skin of the animals.
is that good?
Yeah, reduce the concentration of heavy metals. It's huge, you guys, 32%.
What you did is take nature's most powerful and bioavailable source of orthosilicic acid, kept the detoxifying properties, but made it more bioavailable, which means it would be even more active on the skin. So what do you think we're going to find with that?
I think what we're going to find is that we've been able to help significantly animals in a variety of issues. I did have someone already ask me, can they spray this in the mouth of the animals or the eyes or anywhere else? And my answer is yes. However, we're not indicated for that. You have to be careful because that would be an oral treatment. But again, this is a particular treatment I made for people that we were able to do this, and we did it successfully for over a year.
Spraying in their face.
And we didn't have enough for our animals. And so I'm very happy that now we have this product that we can bring out to really help animals throughout the world, whether it's a cat or a dog or a horse. It will also help other animals. And I think it's extremely important because next week we will be launching this. People will be able to buy different products. And I really want to get this information out so you guys can understand the importance of these two particular products that the animals can have. And then next week we will talk about the other products as well.
So do people spend more money on their kids or their pets statistically?
I spend more money on my kids.
You do.
But most people spend more money on their pets. And I want to say this, it's really important that you guys position this for people that are, because this is a new audience for you. It's like what we said about the skincare line. One of the problems that's happening is we launched all these different brands, right? You've got skincare, you've got fashion, you've got environment, you've got animal lines. You need to target, if you guys want to grow your groups, different people that are focused on animals, your influencers that are focused on animals, et cetera, to really get this information out there. It's extremely important to do that. Clay, are you looking at questions?
Questions.
So it's a shorter deck than usual. We just really wanted to focus on, again, these two products this week, and then next week we'll focus on the other pet products. But you guys need to start preparing your groups for what's coming out. It was hugely important to me, and I think to Clay as well, because of his background, to be able to launch this line. We wish we could have done it sooner, but we're excited that we're doing it now. Any of you guys that followed us on Fashion Week knew that we were making that push. We will be doing additional animal Fashion Week projects this summer that will focus on this line, as well as the animal clothing line. So we have bandanas for the animals. We also have full clothing line to protect the animals from the environment, but we will be launching that gradually. The first push will be the actual supplement line and nutraceutical line for these animals. And I'm really excited about it. Anything else, babe? Because we're short this time.
Has anything like this ever been done before?
I don't think there has been anything done like this before. Again, we'll go over Longer Lives, which is the collagen formula that has the beets in it and everything else. We'll talk about that next week. We'll also talk about the anagreens next week, because I did change that formula that will be coming out with animals as well, for animals as well, and how that can impact your animals' lives. We also have a immune defense shield for animals that's made in a different format that will help with the NAD and quercetin and longevity of telomeres and mitochondria. We can't claim all of that, but there's tons of studies that show how important it is. It's just that most people have not put the time and energy into doing this for their animals. And we think it's hugely important to this community.